Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review, folks. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi, guys.
So tonight we are reviewing a movie that was, say, a cult classic, if you will.
No, it wasn't. It became a cult.
It became a cult classic years ago, called Braindead or Dead and Alive, and it was released in 1992.
We should run into this too much.
Okay.
Right. It was made under the title Braindead when it was made in New Zealand.
Uh-huh.
When it was released in North America, it was retitled Dead Alive.
Yes.
It was 1992
Yes.
New Zealand zombie comedy splatter film.
Or body gore.
A body gore, in collaboration with an American production company, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. That covers it better, does it?
Yeah. And the good thing about this one is, unlike some movies, like they try to portray it being in America, this one manages to maintain a little bit of the New Zealand thing.
It feels like it's still New Zealand, and that's the best part about it. Yeah.
Unlike other movies where in the past where America films it out there, but they change the locations the sides of the roads to American sides and just say, we're in America or something.
No, that's when an American production company goes to another country to make a film. Like Matrix came to Sydney, was done down there, and they Americanised the streets and names and whatever. It was a New Zealand movie made by a New Zealand producer-director who actually had an affiliate in America who came on board and joined it, and not the same thing.
Yes.
Right.
And same I could say for when they did Marvel in Brisbane, and they did the same thing, driving on the wrong side of the roads and stuff like that.
And when they did Pirates of the Caribbean, they put the boat on the wrong side of the wharf. No? No.
Anyway, so this one was done or directed by the Lord of the Rings filmmaker and the King Kong that remake one.
Peter Jackson. This is before he made Lord of the Rings and all the groovy stuff. So he did really, really good. I mean, I don't particularly put this movie on the top of the pile of one of my most favourite movies in the world, but it's not a bad movie.
Yeah,
it's up there. It's not my style. Yeah.
It's up there with all other bloody gory related movies. You know, good the gore.
The gore's good, very nice. And the special effects are great.
The special effects is great
for the time. Back 1992. It's going back a couple of years now.
Yes, it is. And the fact that it's got a lot of interesting scenes and funny bits in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the comedy in it is... It's got enough gore and it's got enough comedy to blend it quite nicely.
Right.
Yeah, I think we would have best way.
I would definitely say so.
Yeah.
It has enough comedy to make you laugh and at the same time gasp.
Yeah, and enough splatter and dead burnt bodies and decaying corpses to keep the old horror fans happy.
Yes.
Now, here we go. Produced by Jim Booth, B-O-O-T-H, or Booth. Screenplay by Stephen Sinclair, Fran Walsh, and Peter Jackson. Directed by Peter Jackson.
That's it.
Aha. Now, I'll go for the actors in a minute. I will talk about the budget stuff first, though.
Good idea.
It was made on a budget of $3 million.
$3 million.
It did not go very, 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 very good at cinema.
No.
I do not know why.
Or maybe someone misinterpret the same movie.
There was another movie called Braindead about the same time, and that maybe they got a conflicting ideas. I don't know. Something went wrong. But it's picked up probably in syndication and home media and different things anyway. It has become a cult classic, so they've probably made money progressively over the years.
Yes.
It must have been... Peter Jackson must have done something good because he made this on $3 million. The initial box office figures were about 242,000 United States. Don't know what it did in New Zealand, where it was actually made. Don't know what it did in Australia, which were next door. Can't tell you. So it might have actually broke even initially and then made more money later on. But having said that, Peter Jackson did such a good job on this. It's sort of it was like a resume, curricula vitae, and they saw he could actually make a good movie, keep it interesting, and hence Lord of the Rings came about some years later.
Yeah, and King Kong,
yeah.
Yeah, he did the that one. I'm amazed the man is able to engineer such movie with only, seeing as he has a very small resume of films.
But before that, he's done well.
And aside from and Dead and Alive, of course, was the lowest on his chain of movies. But aside from that, it kind of years later, other movies opened doors for him, obviously, and opened him to the red carpet treatment, and allowed him to actually work closer with actually well-known actors. Today.
Yep. Anyway, there's a handful of actors here, but I'm only going to mention two.
Good.
Because they're the two main stars. You've got a guy called Timothy Balme, Balme, as Lionel Cosgrove. Mm-hmm. He's a young man who is living with his overbearing mother. Yeah. I won't say what happens, but he becomes our chief protagonist.
Yeah, he's sort of like
he's a hero. Yeah, but he's a wimpy sort of guy who has to come to, you could say coming of age for him. How's that?
He's sort of a cross between Norman Bates from Psycho, Willard from that Willard movie with rats, and Seymour from Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah,
all of them are
wrapped up
and
he's a wimpy
dealing
guy.
with issues.
He got no strength of character, and all of a sudden he is here I am.
And all of them have overbearing and very control-issued mummies.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, not really. I mean, except for the last one I mentioned.
We don't know about Jonathan Hayes and anything, but it doesn't matter, okay?
It's not important.
So, and Diana Peñalver, I think is the name. She's a Spanish girl.
She's pretty.
She plays Paquita Maria Sanchez, which is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I heard that they actually brought her in from overseas to play the role.
Yeah, see, the rest of the actors are Australian-based. Or not Australian,
or
New Zealand-based.
Australian-based. And I didn't hear any other... I noticed that now that the New Zealanders have a very similar accent to Australians, but they say some words differently. And,
quite.
And, I picked up the fact that I think they're mainly New Zealanders. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. I think that's about all I want to say before Sarah starts telling you a story.
Yeah. Also, guys, I should mention when later in the movie we do get a lot of prosthetic makeup in this, so it gets really
prosthetics.
gory as it goes along. And I do enjoy the old-fashioned body gore.
Oh, it looks so good. Yeah, and there's some. I won't say anything. That the dessert makes me laugh, though, doesn't it?
Oh, yes.
You remember that bit?
Yeah.
Custard, really nice. It was custard to start with, but it wasn't in the end.
Yes, I might as well dive into it. So the story begins with our let me see. What's the name of the Greek girl again?
She's a Spanish.
Spanish. Paquita. She's with her grandmother, whom she works at the store. Oh, wait.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait, we don't
It's based in 1957.
Yeah, I should mention
even though it was made in 1992.
Yeah,
there you go.
I should mention... Okay, I should move on to the other stuff I should mention earlier, where in 1957 or 1950, whatever, a man who's gone to Skull Island, which is, I guess, taken from King Kong, I think. Maybe it was probably Peter Jackson's idea, being obsessed with that type of horror movies. I don't know, don't care at this point. So this guy is taking a caged monkey, a rare species of monkey, and he hopes to sell it to a zoo, I think, with the express hope of becoming world famous. Of course, his handlers object to this idea because it's a dangerous creature, and some tribal guys try to tell him, release the monkey and return it back to its natural habitat.
Yeah.
Of course, he says, I got a permit right here.
Considering the native guys can't read English.
Yes, and they tore it to pieces. Would you say that's democracy in action?
Well, yes, I can say that's very democratic. We voted on it. We're going to kill you. There you go.
Yeah.
You look like Indiana Jones. Yeah.
True.
All the natives go chasing, throwing spears at him and stuff. Well,
yeah, they get into their Jeep. Yeah, Jeep.
Yeah.
And they get away. Of course, the guy in charge, he gets bitten on different parts of his body, like his hand, his other hand, and his head. And his native guys, they chop off his hand, then they see the other bite on his other hand, chop off his shoulder, and then they chop off his top of his head because that was
every time we got a bite. Oh no, we got to stop it spreading. So, hello, you got bit on the head. I cut his head off so it doesn't spread to his body. You might hurt him.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's why I think things like this sort of humour doesn't really get to me very good.
The two hands then sell the monkey to the guys who are going to send it over to New Zealand Zoo, obviously.
Yeah, to Newtown.
Yes, that's what they call it.
There must be a big zoo in Newtown in New Zealand.
Yes, and of course one of the hand guys, he objects to this, but he's told by his two friends not to breathe a word of this. Then we cross over to traveling over to New Zealand, and then we meet Paquita,
the girl.
Paquita, who is working in a gas station, not gas station, a grocery store.
With a grandmother,
and her grandmother and her dad or uncle, I'm not sure. Who cares?
Oh,
I'm thinking her brother, I think it is. And her grandma's telling her fortune about her future husband or future boyfriend. And she tells him about how brave he is. And she even asks him, that doesn't look like Roger. And she says, no, it's not Roger. It's going to be someone new, someone that you never think. Of course, it turns out to be Lionel, a bit of a boy next door who's always a obedient doormat.
Doormat, yeah, that's what I was going to say. A bit of a doormat, yeah. People want to feel over him or walk in. Yeah.
But somehow Paquita sees the sign that her grandma tells her. It was a star with a moon over it. And she realizes that that's her destined boyfriend, and she's romantically attached to him, which is really odd because at first she looks like he thought he was a bit of a dork, but she's kind of thrilled at this choice. But then again, this is back in the 1950s, and in those days, if you're falling in love, that's no doubt no one questions it back in the 1950s in those old scripts. Wouldn't you say, Mike?
Shouldn't think so, no.
No. So she eventually Lionel gets his shopping, and he then heads back to his home, which he shares with his mother, Vera. Yeah, which makes me think of Vera Miles a little bit, from Psycho. Vera is an old lady who is a very big control freak, especially over her son, and doesn't like anyone who so much as befriends him.
A little bit of a backstory here. The story that Vera has told her son, or keeps alluding to, is her father died years ago, and supposedly died at the beach trying to save Lionel from drowning.
Yes.
But Lionel...
He finds out the truth.
No. Lionel has been convinced by mother that is the truth.
Yep.
We find it later it's not, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. And she's sort of invited to join, becoming... something about a society. She got this letter in the mail, and she cuts it off with a very big knife. It was really creepy, that part.
Yeah. No.
She is very creepy, very scary before she becomes...
Even a normal lady, she seems pretty scary. I wouldn't want her as a mother.
No. They live in this vintage house, or
it's a little bit like American Carpenter Gothic style.
Yeah.
It's a nice weatherboard, wooden house. Two levels.
Yeah, I would say that.
In the basement. Yeah, it's a bit like Norman Bates' house, but a bit different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, while he's mowing the lawn, it's just them two. So he looks after everything in their house, including dusting, cleaning, and looking after the vermin inside the house, like rats or stuff.
Yeah,
that's what she
that sort of stuff.
Yeah, she uses him as literally a doormat. Obviously, doesn't even hire people.
No, her little son looks after his mummy.
Of course, as he's mowing the lawn, he meets Paquita outside.
You got it right.
Hooray! Hey! Anyway, Paquita kind of talks to him and kind of squishes him for a date, obviously.
She tricks him into it.
Tricks him into it. So they go to the zoo, and here he tells her about how his father died, and he he has been traumatized by water ever since, or, anything like that.
Yes, and you must be traumatised too. You don't have a bath very often.
Funny.
No, I was joking.
Yes, I'll kick you for that. Anyway, so while they're on this date, Vera
Miles, no,
Vera
Vera
is watching him, and I think she really doesn't like the idea of him dating.
He doesn't want. She doesn't want the idea that he's going to get a life outside of her and the house.
Yes.
He's a built-in slave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
Yes. Anyway, while they're looking at the animals, they come across this creepy-looking monkey that's actually part rat and part monkey. And this is the monkey we saw that was taken from Skull Island. We saw the opening part to the movie.
Yes. Get on with it.
And the guy who tells them a bit of a brief story how some creepy rats came onto the island and had sex with the monkeys.
No, it's not quite that. I gather what the story is. It's a hybrid creature.
Yes.
That resulted. Oh yeah, what's that? Yeah,
a crossbreeding
from the rape of tree monkeys by rats. Well, I'd
Yes.
like to see them do that. Their penises must be very small. Yeah.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they did have sex.
Yeah,
Woo.
they watch as it tears apart an ordinary monkey, and of course they then head off to cool off their heads off near a bench, while Vera, she is near the rat monkey's cage, and she gets bitten by this creature. Then she stomps on it to death, killing it.
Not very nice.
And then she screams for her son, and then he takes her home. And as he's walking away, he looks back at Paquita and thinks, oh, how much he's like a slave in this relationship with his mum.
Yep.
Anyway, he takes her back to their house, and she goes to bed, obviously. And she doesn't go to bed right away. She gets the nurse. A nurse comes in and bandages her hand up.
Where the bite was.
And,
it was nasty. You're not a living dead sort of bite.
Yeah.
Really.
And tells Lionel that to contact her to re-bandage it in case it gets a little bit more infected or something like that. So he puts his mum to bed, and later on, Paquita comes to his house with his jacket because he left his jacket with her.
He left in a bit of a rush.
Yes,
with mother. Yeah.
Yes, he did. So he talks to her, and he thinks he wants to put an end to their relationship before it begins, but she eventually Sorry, guys.
Mum now is starting to fall apart a little bit.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Don't die.
Sorry.
Come back as a living dead or something.
Lionel begins, and Paquita, they begin to make out, I think. And while this is happening, his mother is having a dream, probably dreaming of him making out with his new girlfriend and stuff. And the wound on her hand that was left by the rat monkey starts getting infected and causing her to get sick.
And getting worse. Her skin's going horrible.
Yes.
Not a living dead where the people they get a bit decrepit and
Yeah.
stuff. Well, yeah, that sort of stuff. But she's still alive, but she's not
Quite
alive. She's on her way out the door.
Later the next morning, as he's coming in with her brekkie, as I said, and he sees that she's not feeling well and thinks that he should call a doctor, or the nurse, obviously, to take her to the hospital. But she objects because the people from the board are coming to visit her.
Yeah, some sort of, I don't know what board, I can't remember what it was. Whatever, yeah. Some group, committee she's a member of, and they think she's important and stuff, and it's all,
Yeah.
social climbing
Of
crap.
course, she asks to get her best dress out and get some makeup on herself. Of course, while she's applying makeup, some of her skin peels.
Yeah, so he gets some glue.
He gets some glue and puts it...
And glues the skin back on. And they cover it up nicely with a bit of makeup so she can have her, her luncheon with the people downstairs. But she started to talk slowly.
Yeah, she starts speaking very drowsy and very weird. Anyway, while this is happening, they're talking to her, trying to discuss things, but she's not really on the same planet with them.
No. Planet Vera. No, okay.
Anyway, soon enough, as they're eating custard, she starts... accidentally, one of her ears comes off and, dips into her custard.
And she picks up and eats it. And then some pus comes out of a saw and ends up in a man's custard.
Gross.
Not very nice.
Anyway, they soon leave, and I guess he takes... His mother starts acting up more and more like a zombie-wise, and he decides to... take her upstairs to try to fix her up. Of course, at this point, he tells Paquita. Paquita arrives there, and he asks her to call the nurse and stuff. Of course, the nurse arrives, and she hopes to take Vera to the hospital. But then she...
then everything, the poo hits the fan now.
Yes. Vera starts attacking the nurse, and the nurse starts,
She's zombified.
Yeah, and quickly, Lionel quickly tries to fight them off and tries to put them into the basement. Then tells Paquita that his mother...
They've already gone to the hospital.
The nurse took Vera in her car to the hospital.
That's the story.
Yeah.
But they took it to the basement.
Yeah, all the time he's playing the radio really loud, and of course Paquita leaves, feeling a little weirded out by this.
Yes. What's happening here? I do not know.
Yeah. Later on, he gets some tranquilizers from a pet shop. I mean, a vet store.
A vet he's a weird man.
Yes. Yeah. He's a very one of those, I think fake German accent type guys, obviously. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He talks about the war and stuff. Anyway, he gives Lionel some, tranquilizers and stuff, and he injects them into Vera and the nurse, obviously, to keep them calm or keep them sedated, if that's a term. Yes, sedated. Anyway, later on, Vera's body starts shambling around, and we soon see her getting crushed by a bus. And of course, people surround it, and they all think that Vera must have, just up and died. And this is a shame. Yeah, this is where the funeral comes into it, where Lionel is trying to tranquilize his mother to make her appear dead during the funeral service. Of course, this doesn't work so well, and when they see him kind of wrestling with her,
they think he's going a bit strange, like Norman Bates.
Yeah, they think he's acting peculiar, and this is where we get introduced to her brother. I don't know his name, obviously, but he's not a nice person. Got a nice car, but he looks so very shady.
He is. Let's get on with the other bit of it.
Yeah, and he's there to collect inheritance from the will.
He tells all that his mother was going to make a bequeath to him in her will, but she was taken before she had a chance to change the will. So he's trying to manipulate him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paquita, I think, is starting to realize whether or not she should stay with Lionel. I think she's starting to have second thoughts about this sort of thing. We also learned during one of his visits to her store that her grandma shows him of a particular incident that's going to happen that will kind of he'll be in great danger, obviously. Of course, she gives him a special necklace that has the star and the moon thingy-wing, which is interesting, really nice, as a way of protection against evil.
That's this, for your mother's sake.
Exactly.
Not for his mother's sake, hates his mother.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay.
Eventually, he kind of goes back to the graveyard and digs her body up with the express purpose of injecting her again. Of course, at this point, some punk guys come there and they start attacking him.
Is this punks?
Yeah, punks. They're punks or hoods or whatever. Anyway, they start attacking him, and they start vandalizing his mother's grave.
Yeah, and the gang leader stands on the grave and starts peeing on it.
Yeah.
Bad move.
Eventually,
Mother didn't like it.
She kind of pulls out his you-know-whats.
No, her hand comes straight out of the ground and grabbed him on the you-know-what while he was urinating.
Yeah, and this is where we get she starts attacking the men, obviously, and then we see the priest, and the priest starts attacking the zombified
Yeah, but like a Jackie Chan. He's a really, very, very good priest.
Yeah,
good,
I fight for the Lord. So,
fighting for the Lord, and he's doing karate kicks and crap. He's doing really good.
Of course, when he kicks one of them loses its head, literally, but he gets bitten anyway. And this gives us three more bodies
the hood,
for the
head
basement.
guy, and the priest.
Yes.
And we end up having Mother and the nurse. So we've got 4 zombies going to live with poor old Lionel.
Yeah, he starts giving them daily tranquilizers in their food, obviously. And
he's feeding them some sort of gruel, yeah.
And this is where his uncle arrives and demands his share of he wants the estate, obviously, and the money.
He wants a bequeath out of the estate.
Yeah. All the time, Lionel tries to hide the fact that his mother is zombified and she's in the other room, obviously. But luckily enough, he was able to push his uncle out, obviously. And here we watch as the nurse and the priest make love, and she ends up pregnant.
Yes, he does. It looks pretty cute. Little cute. I don't know. Yeah. Strange creatures born not long later. Yeah,
we do get a scene where he's pushing a pram with the zombie baby. I have no idea
why he took the zombie baby out to get some fresh air. I have no idea.
It's not like he's going to push him on a swing set.
No, you got a pram. And yet when you do a POV shot, you've got barbed wire across the front of it so to keep him in, So
yeah,
okay, really good.
Anyway, so he then takes it home after a few hits over the.
He's hyperactive. It's something like that. Yeah, it's really
I bet
weird.
Even the whole area was thinking that it was weird. Anyway, soon enough, he's actually trying to get some more tranquilizers, but then he meets Paquita again, and she wonders what's wrong. Why did he stopped contacting her and stuff? But he says that he doesn't want to see her getting hurt. Of course, in this scene, when they're arguing, the guy who's the milkman, who's named Roger, sees them and thinks that they're
arguing in the middle of the street, and he thinks he's roughing her up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is where Paquita decides to break off with Lionel and decides to date this
Roger, who is so full of himself, and he just talks football, and he also talks football.
Yeah. It was probably nice for a week, but it gets boring after a while.
5 minutes. But anyway, while this is all going on, Les, Lionel's uncle,
that's his name,
who wants a little bit of the estate, finds there's dead bodies
in the basement,
and he thinks, oh goody.
You must be a psychopath.
Then he tries to blackmail him, Lionel, into signing over the whole estate, the house and money and everything else to him. Otherwise, he'll tell the police that there's dead bodies in the basement.
Yeah. Of course, I think Lionel at this point, he doesn't care about the estate or the money. He's over it. He's over it. Yeah. He doesn't care. I mean, at this point, he just wants to, get on, move on.
Now, this is the best bit.
Yes.
Uncle Les, after this, decides to have a housewarming party for all his friends.
Yeah.
And then the poo really hits the fan.
Yeah. Here, he demands Lionel to go down the basement and bury the bodies.
Get rid of them. I don't want them else. That's
easy said than done.
Yeah.
If they're not one wiggling around, moving with their fingers, then we wouldn't.
Dirty, great big commercial mincing machine.
Anyway, soon enough, Paquita arrives there, notices the party going on, and leaves her current boyfriend Roger behind, and he walks off to his next whatever. Yeah. Anyway, she goes inside, and that horrible uncle starts trying to put a hit on her. Of course, she meets up with Lionel and finds the bodies in the basement and realizes that the truth all the time.
And she doesn't mind. She realizes because her grandmother said, you'll meet a guy and he's surrounded by death.
Yes.
He was.
Oh, yes.
At least 4 of them anyway.
Anyway, so she tells him we need to destroy them. They're not this is not right. So he takes a special poison, and of course we later find out this poison can be effective on animals but not on humans.
Yes.
Anyway, he injects it into them one by one and saves Vera for the last because he feels this is still his mother.
No, actually, it's supposed to be poison.
Yes.
No. It's an animal stimulant.
Oh, animal stimulant.
Yeah, it didn't get the poison. He got a stimulant instead of a poison. Okay. So it actually brings them all back to life.
Anyway, so he then he's done that obviously, and then he buries them in the basement, obviously. And while he's about to get out of there, obviously, he discovers this is a stimulant thing, and that will mean they're coming back, obviously.
Yes.
And this is where the real starts. The house starts to rock, obviously.
Yep.
The creatures start eventually going out of their graves and start attacking the partygoers.
And they join the partygoers, yes.
Yes.
And
they start biting and chewing, and of course they start rising from the grave.
And like any good zombie movie, as soon as you're bitten, you turn into a zombie. So you had something like, 50 people there or something?
Oh, yeah.
50 or more people there, and you end up having about 50 zombies there. You're stuck in this house having a party.
Yeah, and soon enough it becomes a battlefield for some of the survivors. Well, not really, actually. There is Paquita and another girl who obviously a friend of, not a friend, a friend of
one of the
partygoers. And his uncle who tries to fight him off, using knives and forks or whatever.
He's doing pretty good to start with.
Yeah.
But he's a cretin anyway. He has to go.
Oh, yes. I think we can only have one hero in this movie, and I don't really think he's hero material. Anyway, so he fights the creatures, and of course, Lionel, he fights as much as he could. But of course, the best part of the scene was actually where he gets a mower, and he uses it as a bit of a grinding tool on these creatures.
Yeah, your old petrol mowers. Yeah, you have the nice blades at the bottom. Well, you got a nice little two-stroke mower, and he turns on and he uses it like a brush cutter, holds it up, and he goes through the crowd, slicing and dicing the dead people all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
And he makes a very good go of it, doesn't he?
Oh, yes, he did. Anyway, he then eventually gets all of them, obviously, and he takes Paquita in his arms, but he realizes we are left with one less body in the midst.
Mother hasn't woken up yet.
Yeah, we then hear a rumbling, and then a bit of a growling, and then we see her protrude out of the floor.
She comes out of the ground and through the floorboards. She must be about
big.
6 feet?
I don't know. Considering how big it is.
Maybe about 15 to 20 foot tall and really solid and looks like a demon.
She actually attacks his uncle, obviously, and they quickly try to get away from it, obviously. And there's a fire breaking out inside the building thanks to one of the zombies who got a light bulb fixture inside her head.
And we started a little fire,
Yeah.
No smoke alarms here.
Yeah. They quickly, Lionel and Paquita, they quickly climb through a bit of a fireplace,
They went up a chimney and went to the ceiling.
Yeah.
All the roof,
the while trying to get to the roof, obviously. Yeah. And here we watch as his mummy kind of breaks through the roof and approaches them, and it speaks in his not so motherish voice.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But Lionel said,
"I'm not afraid of you."
And he realized the truth.
Yeah, he tells her that he knew who killed his father. It was her. He finds some evidence that his dad had a girlfriend.
And he's having an affair. So mother, Vera, drowned her husband and his lover in the bathtub at home.
Yeah, and he witnessed it, and I guess projected a different story in his head. Using his manipulation.
Yeah, when a kid, keep telling a story, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, how you can disprove that. Anyway,
lies.
Anyway, he then gets forced into her belly.
No,
I think
mother opens up her tummy bit and sucks him in.
Yes. Well,
it's like, he's gone. He's been eaten by his mother.
Nope. Anyway, Paquita is clinging to the roof.
Almost falling off.
But luckily enough, Lionel was able to pull himself out, kind of tear
he had that
himself.
necklace thingy, which had a sharp blade on it, and he cut Mummy open from the inside.
Yeah, she growls angrily,
Hurt.
and she falls back through a hole in the
Burning house
and dies, obviously. And then Lionel grabs Paquita, and they sort of they kind of
he puts his belt over a power cable or something, and he goes down like a flying fox.
Yeah, they go down like a flying fox. Then the firemen arrive, and we hear the zombie baby crying, and supposedly going to die soon. I hope.
Well, hope so. But all the other ones are dead.
Yeah, Paquita and Lionel watch as the place burns, and residents come out to watch the carnage.
He'd probably save a few dollars because Mum would have had bank accounts, so he would, and the house might have been insured.
Anyway, they then kiss and they walk off into, well, not to the sunset because it was still nighttime. Then that movie ends, obviously. Not bad for a gory body horror movie.
It's a good, fun movie. If you like a gory, funny comedy, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it was filmed in and around Wellington, New Zealand. Close locations, didn't have to go too far.
Nope.
Took place over 11 weeks on location. Whatever, blah, blah, blah. Oh.
What?
Okay, yeah. A movie before it's called Bad Taste, whatever that was.
Oh.
I must have a look at that. Yeah. Wow, okay. Film was shot on... Okay. No, nothing. I'm just going through a few notes here. But anyway, filming locations, we're all done around. Peñalver. I was all stupid Maori names I can't say. Peñalver Pinnacles acts as Skull Island in the film. Wellington's U is Newtown. And he got arrested for the house. Won't go into that too much, but yeah, it's all done in and around Wellington, New Zealand. And
so when they did these scenes for the Skull Island, that was a place called.
Can you say that word? I got no freaking idea. I don't speak Maori.
Well, no, I can't.
No, well,
but
there you go.
It would be nice to know if it was in either a particular place or something.
I just said Peñalver, whatever. P-U-T-A-N-G-I-R-U-A Pinnacles acts as Skull Island, okay? But it's I don't know. I can't say Maori names.
I gotta admit, it was interesting that Peter Jackson actually put a name that was so familiar from King Kong into the story.
And Skull Island, and the Skull Cave from the Phantom. The Skull's always really good, you know.
But I meant that the whole Skull Island is a well-known name in King Kong.
Yep.
It's been in whenever people think of the Skull Island, that's the only movie that comes up in mind when you think about it. It's sort of probably where he got the inspiration to actually go ahead and make his own King Kong movie. Yeah. Using those little things from the past, obviously. I think it was pretty an awesome take on it whenever I think of that movie. Anyway, so talking of this movie, I do think that I do like the fact that the gore was great and it was hilarious. And
actually, the gory bits were so bad they actually cut bits out of it for home release stuff because it was
yeah, well,
a bit graphic.
Well,
yeah,
the graphier the better.
The graphier the better. Yeah.
Well, it's no matter how gory it gets.
It was pretty. I think it was done in really graphic, and it wouldn't get past it. I think the people might be throwing up in the theatre. It was pretty graphic, horrible. Yeah.
Well, if it was meant for a younger audience, it would probably be wrong.
You'd still throw up.
I mean, it wouldn't be good if you had a full stomach and naturally you puked all over.
And you saw some crap, puked all over the cinema floor. Yeah, it wouldn't be very nice.
I mean, normally I don't really throw up in a movie, but sometimes I have the urges to make that noise because it's so type stuff. But aside from that, I don't really throw up in real life. Obviously, sometimes I just make the noise.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I do think it's an okay movie. It's a lot more. I think of it less gorier than some other movies I can mention. I mean, like One other movie that I think is not too gory would be Hellraiser. I don't think that's too gory. I mean, some people keep saying
moments.
Some people keep saying how gory it is, how
Uncle Frank getting his skin back was a bit gory.
Yeah, it's gory, but I think it's just interesting kind of gory.
Yeah, but more bloody looking, not just pus and stuff and things falling off. It looks all blood. Yeah,
I mean, when you have it's not just blood dripping out, other things like other organs dripping all over the place, like green or yellow. Stuff, you get the pussy feelings.
Anyway, critical reception. I won't go into all of it, but Rotten Tomatoes had an approval rating of 89%. Okay. Oh, excuse me, I'm a bit tired. Everyone liked it. Metacritic about 54%. Lots of people reckon it was Peter Jackson's finest movie yet to date at that time.
Okay, cool.
And it was praised for its humour, acting, technical qualities, gore, effects, and makeup. It was stated that a Kiwi gore specialist, Peter Jackson, who goes for broke with an orgy of bad taste and splatter humour. Yeah, so yeah, it's a really good eye fest if you're looking at that sort of thing. So yeah, everyone liked it. The critics liked it. Yeah, they didn't have anything bad to say about it. They enjoyed the special effects. They enjoyed the humour as well. So it's really good. So there, for once, the critics have got good taste. Now, I don't normally do accolades and awards. I've been doing it lately for different things here for a reason. Now, accolades. Here we go. 1992. Fanta Festival, whatever that is. Best Actor, Best Special Effects, Timothy Balme, won.
Right.
In both of those categories. SITGS Film Festival, wherever that is. Best Film, Peter Jackson, nominated. Best Special Effects, Bob McCarran and Richard Taylor, won. Amsterdam Fantastic Film Festival, Golden Scream Award, Peter Jackson, won.
Ooh, cool.
Fantastic Porto, Best Film, Peter Jackson, won. Best Special Effects, Steve Ingram, won. In 1993, New Zealand Film and TV Awards, Best Film, Jim Booth, won. Best Male Dramatic Performance, Timothy Balme, won. Best Director, Peter Jackson, won. Best Screenplay, Peter Jackson, Stephen Sinclair, Fran Walsh, won. Best Contribution to Design, Richard Taylor, won. Saturn Awards, Best Horror Film, Peter Jackson, nominated. Best Special Effects, Bob McCarran and Richard Taylor, nominated. And Saturn Awards 1994, Best Genre Video Release,
cool,
won. So it's got one, a few nominations. So yeah,
and awards.
Won a lot of awards. I said one, a couple of nominations. So it was really, really well received. Yeah. So yeah, I don't normally do the accolades, but when I think it's worthwhile, I throw them in there.
Yeah,
so,
I guess they couldn't find anything hateful about it, you know.
No, but when you go to a film festival, it's different. It's not a critique. It's weighed up on its merits. The directorship, the storyline, the acting, the special effects, yada 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 yada, and they go there and say, yeah, and it gets judged against its peers. Okay. Anyway, all that good and done. Now, here we go. It's got two names. I mean, we might have mentioned earlier.
Yes, we did.
The main release name is Braindead. One word: Braindead. But in North America, it would have been released as Dead Alive. Okay, 1992, Peter Jackson movie. Now, on eBay, you've got both listed. Braindead is for sale. Dead Alive is for sale. Amazon has Braindead for sale and Dead Alive for rent or for sale. So, very confusing when you have two names. Note. Being an old movie, there will be VHS out there. I saw some. There is also another film around the same time referred to as Braindead, and I believe there's also a TV series called Braindead. I don't know when that came out, but so when you go looking, Braindead, one word, 1992. Hope hopefully, if they got it right, it could have a later date for a newer release, like a Blu-ray, but always look for directed by Peter Jackson and starring Timothy Balme, Balme, and you got the right product.
Right.
Do not moan and groan, I didn't get the right movie, it's crap. No, sorry, you just make sure you get the right one.
Yeah.
So, I reckon it's a good watch and great to add to a collection if you collect.
Yeah.
It's a good, fun movie. Again, not my type of movie. I wouldn't put it on top of my top 10 favourite movies, but it's a good watch. Okay, it's fun if you like weird humour like this, a comedy, zombie comedy. Yeah. So it's a good watch. So I'm going to give this, even though I don't particularly like this genre, this type of movie, I'm still going to give it about 9. 9.5. It's pretty good. Peter Jackson did a good job.
I think so.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it 9.5 out of 10 myself too, because I do like the gore, and I like the story, love the connections, and I like the fact that it had an interesting story and with the whole, over manipulative mother and a weakling son who decides to grow a bit of balls to confront her, obviously, at the end of the movie.
I'd say the best part of this movie is, and I'm not knocking the Americans or the English or anybody else in the film industry, looking at it, New Zealand make their films a slightly different way.
They do.
And it's more... It's not manipulated as much. It's not, we're going to force this and force that. I think they, when they wrote it, they used what they had. The corner store was probably a corner store. They didn't make a corner store up, I don't think. That sort of stuff. And there's a touch of innocence about it. Yeah,
and I mentioned the zoo scenes would be a real zoo.
Yeah.
They were not. There are real. I mean, they won't use CGI. This is years ago, so technically there will be real locations, really shot on here and there.
But it's also natural. It's innocent. I mean, it's not forced. Not forced humor.
Of course they.
So it was really good.
Of course, seeing as this was filmed in 1992,
they
would have to hire out some old cars, and not to mention costumes.
They did.
For this period.
Actually they hired the cars from or borrowed the cars or hired them from some local automotive clubs who specialised in collecting old vehicles. So they used all these old cars, and there was quite a few scenes of the old cars. There was dozens of old cars there, which made it look so damn good and so authentic, and they kept away from the main cities and stuff. We had the older houses there, and the corner shop had been around for quite a few years, so everything looked old.
We do in Australia and New Zealand, obviously, we do have a few old houses that we can...
In some old areas?
In old areas that are still... They can actually be maintained accordingly if you do it right. And some of them do still look a little rustic, but that's okay.
Well, they're old. So you'd have... in America, I don't know, different states have different sort of areas, but we've got a housing type over here that I noticed in Sydney, I referred to as a Californian bungalow style house. Now, that would probably be a style taken from America. So in some areas, you might have a lot of these old houses. You see some of these slasher movies and stuff there in the back streets and the poorer areas. You had all these old weatherboard houses and stuff. And those places still exist in here, America, other countries, for Europe. There are a lot of old houses hanging around, and you can actually go back in time by walking into an area.
That's true.
It's good.
It is good. It's worth actually watching, guys. I shouldn't let you guys know that Australia does, and New Zealand, they often do movies over here a lot, and we've had... You may have heard of it, called Boy Swallowed Universe. It was filmed all over parts of Brisbane and probably the Gold Coast area, and it was actually...
It's a seven-parter?
Yeah,
five or seven-part TV miniseries, and if it gets over there and streaming, Boy Swallows Universe is... interesting. To me, it starts off a bit slow the first couple of episodes, but then it picks up. But that's worth a watch too. We won't review it.
No, that's.
But if you like Australian content, it's not bad.
Yeah, because they filmed in ordinary street areas, like away from modern buildings.
Yeah, they kept it old.
Considering this takes place back in the 1980s, obviously too. So it has to be a very period type environment. So they had to use old cars, old wardrobe, and
old clothing and stuff.
And,
but yeah.
Even though the old wardrobe back then was safe.
No,
look,
okay. a lot of the clothes don't change, especially for guys, but females' clothing seems to change a tad.
Yeah. Tad, yeah.
Yeah, but the cars, you got to make sure you get the car situation right and other things like that. And technology, you walk into a room there, you don't have modern television in there. You have to have an old television in there and an old mantle radio and different things, and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, in one scene we see them having one of those old-fashioned radios, those big ones that look like a very as big as a big as a cabinet kind of ones.
Yeah, I think it's called cathedral radios. Yeah, they're like that. It used to stand about a metre or so high and about 3 or 4 feet tall, and a big central dial, a couple of knobs on it. Yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, seeing as this was back in the 1950s, aside from some people getting televisions, people still had the radio for entertainment purposes, right?
Yeah, no,
some people.
No. The point is, I don't know why we're talking about the past. Back in the 50s, if we got some older viewers here, listeners. People would have, in Australia at least, we had radio shows on, like plays and stuff. The DJs actually loaded a lot more talkback shows, everything else. You phone in, have a chat and different things. It was very much a radio-orientated society. Mm-hmm. And then the TVs came along, and I think it was late 50s, early 60s, around there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And then they started becoming popular in Australia, and everyone started to get them over the next few years. They became an icon in every household.
Oh, yeah.
Et cetera, et cetera. But I remember we got one of the first TVs in our area, and I was about 3 years old. So that would be about 1957. Yeah. And that was one of the first TVs, that period, that first wave of TVs come into Sydney.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's at that period where your radio still had a lot of power and a lot of people listening to it, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. So nice. I remember listening to stage plays at night sometimes. Even when I had TV, I'd go in the room and I'd listen to stage play. Because I want something different.
Anyway, that's about it from us, guys. So, where to find it again? Would you tell us again where we can find it?
I've already done that.
Oh, yeah.
eBay, under both names, Braindead or Dead Alive. Amazon, Braindead for sale. Dead Alive, rent or for sale. And also the warning, note, VHS, they're out there. Keep an eye out for them. Don't get one accidentally.
Wrong one.
There's also another film about the same time, I think, called Braindead, and there's a TV series called Braindead. So look for the words Peter Jackson as the director or Timothy Balme, Balme, as the main actor, and you can't go too far wrong.
Yes, so that's about it from us, guys. So this will probably be our last podcast until by the time this one comes out,
this will be at middle of May. We'll be back. We'll have some more.
We'll be back, and by then
you won't miss an installment.
So the next one, when we get back, we'll try to work out what we're going to review next. Obviously, because right now we're coming too close to.
We're going into cruise mode for a couple of weeks, but we got enough lined up.
Yes.
And a holding pattern over the local airport.
Yes. I'll release this one after I edit, twink it up a bit late tonight. I'll then post it and schedule it and have it ready for all of you guys.
About the middle of May.
Middle of May.
Sometime, just after, yeah. So, we're ahead of time here. You're not going to miss out. You'll still get your 2 installments per week.
Yes.
And we can have rest.
Yes. All right, guys. That's about it from us, guys. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Marvel.
Saying see you guys around on Boys and Ghouls Film Review. Bye for now and have a good week.
Bye, guys.